Welcome to the tutorial video of KStat. KStat is an Excel add-in used for the course Quantitative Methods for Management of Bocconi University. The macro KStat seems to be a simple file Excel, and to open it we just have to double click on it, and then we have to click on OK in the windows of welcome to KStat. OK. Then we have to import the file with the data in the macro. So we go on the file Excel with the data, we open it, the file is hotdog Excel, selecting all the sheets, all the data on the sheets, we copy and then we paste it in KStat in the sheets data like this. Okay, so we have imported the file with the information, the data set that we will analyze with the macro. The command list that we will use is here in add-ins. In the menu statistics, we will see this command: univariate statistics, correlations, regression, prediction, model analysis, charts, and analysis of variance. Okay, let's start with the first command, that is univariate statistics. KStat analyzes only quantitative and dummy variables. So if we have qualitative variables that aren't dummies, we have to transform it in dummies variable. So clicking on univariate statistics, a new sheet will produced by the macro, and we have this information for each variables. The first variable is market dub, then pdub, and so on. So each column from the column C going to the right is referred to a single variable of the dataset, and each row is an information of this variable. For example, mean, in the row mean we will have the sample mean for each variable. In KStat we will see a comment of each indicator that is produced by the macro. For example, for mean we will have here the sample mean is in an unbiased estimate, and so on. Okay, then the following command is correlations. Correlations is another command that produced a correlation matrix considering all the couple of variables in the dataset. This is the correlation matrix. So for example, looking at this point, this cell, this is the correlation between the variable market dub and pdub. We have all the information about the correlation index between two variables of the dataset. The following command is statistics regression. This command is not automatic. We will have to select the dependent and the independent variable. So clicking on regression, a window will open. Then on the left we will have to select the dependent variable, for example market dub, and on the right we have to select the independent variable or variables, one or more of these other variables. For example, we can select pdub. Clicking on perform regression, the software, the macro, will produce 3 new data sheets. The 3 sheets are regression, ANOVA, and residuals. The sheets regression has some information about the coefficient and the general quality of the model. Here we have the punctual estimation of the coefficients in this row, and then the test on each coefficient, the standard error of regression, the R-square, and so on. The other 2 sheets are ANOVA, analysis of variance. In this sheet we have the F-test in order to understand the general quality of the model, if the independent variables together are significant. And in the sheet residuals we have other information about the predicted value and the residual, so the error for each value of the independent variable. So in this sheet we have all the rows that we have in the data set. In our example we have 113 rows. In the command, the following command is referring to this regression, the last regression that we ran. So if we click on statistics prediction, we will use the last regression that we produced for predict dependent variables using the independent variables. Clicking on prediction, so a new sheet will open, the sheet prediction, and here you can see in yellow the input cells, the input values that we have to insert. For example, if we want to understand, we want to predict the dependent market tube value when the independent value is 149, we have to write in this cell 149 and then click predict. So we'll have this prediction of the value of market tube, the dependent variable. If we run now another regression, this prediction is deleted. So let's try to produce another model, statistics regression. You can see that all the sheets referring to our regression are deleted. So we will select other variables. For example, we will run a multiple linear regression, perform regression, and then we will have new information, and running a new prediction we will have more than one independent variable. Statistics, prediction, and here we will have to compile, to insert all the information about these 4 variables, all the independent variables. With KStat it is possible to produce multiple predictions by clicking this button, make multiple predictions. Here we can compare these different prediction for different values of the independent variables. For example, we will compare 2 predictions. The first is for these values of the x, 149, 169, 189, 189. Another prediction for these values, 149, 169, 189, and 200. Okay, clicking on predict, we will have in these two columns the prediction of the model for the two sets of values for the independent variables. We can change also the confidence level to produce the two confidence intervals for prediction and for estimated mean. Another command that we will see that is referred to the last regression is model analysis, the following one. This command will expand the residual sheet and will produce some tests and information about this model. For example, we will have the heteroscedasticity test, the normality test, the variance inflection factor to understand if there is multicollinearity, and in this table we will have information about outliers in this column, high leverage point in this column, and influential observation in this column. All these values are in red. For example, an outlier is in red. If it is in black, it is not an outlier. To count, for example, how many outliers are in the dataset, we can select all this table and sort this table using the command data sort for the column studentized, the column with the outliers, sort on font color red. So we will have in the top of this table the outliers, so we can count them how many are in the dataset. We click on OK. For example, in this dataset, for this regression, we have 7 outliers. These observations are outliers. With the KStat, we can produce also some charts. We will see two types of charts, scatter plots and residual plots. Scatter plots is a scatter between the dependent that we have to select here on the left, for example market dub, against the independent variables, one independent variable. So we will select pdub, for example. Okay, this is the sheet with the graph, the scatter plot. We can draw in this graph also the regression line, clicking here. So this is the linear model between this dependent variable and this independent variable. Clicking on done, we will close this graph and we can produce another one. Here in Advanced Statistics charts, we will see how to produce the residual plot. What is residual plot? Is a graph referred to the last regression that we ran that allows us to understand the error of the residual of the model. So we will have to select plot residuals against predicted values. Clicking on OK, we will have this graph of the residual plots. On this axis we have the residuals, and here the predicted values. The last command that we will see is the ANOVA, the analysis of variance. Clicking on statistics, analysis of variance, we can run a f-test, a test jointly on 2 or more variables of the model. So clicking on analysis of variance, we will have these windows. In this window we have to select the dependent variable and the base variables and the added variable. For example, we can test these two variables breg and pbbif together to understand if these two variables together are significant. Clicking on Perform ANOVA, we will have in this sheet three f-tests. The first test is on the base model with only two variables. The second test is on the extended model with 4 variables, the extended model with all the independent variables. And the last information is the last test is about the difference, the two added variables, to understand if they are together significant in the model. ANOVA is the last command that we will see for KStat. So we can return on the data. Thank you for listening and good luck.